And we're live.
Hello, Jem. How are you?
I'm all lonely.
Yeah,
I'm all lonely because you're poorly and I'm all lonely.
yeah. I've had. You know what? I never suffer with headaches. I've had a migraine today. I don't get them that often. So
Nasty things.
I'm in a dark room at the moment. So the glare of the screen. That's why I'm keeping my camera and everything off. So
Okay.
yeah. So
Do you want do you
hopefully,
want, do you want me to move my mouth while you talk?
no, because that'd just be weird.
It was worth a try. Oh, we can't because of the delay in the sound. There
Yes.
we go.
So look, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us on yet another special edition of CBTV. These special editions are becoming the norm as of late. And you will, of course, all by now have heard the news from the Welsh First Minister today at 12:15 when he announced that on Friday we're going into a fire break lockdown, otherwise known as a circuit breaker, otherwise known as lockdown. It's happening on Friday. It's going to be in place for just over 2 weeks because it doesn't return to normal until Monday the 9th. So we go in on the Friday and we sort of come out of it, hopefully, 2 weeks the following Monday, which is the 9th of November. So what does that mean for Vale Holiday Parks and Claret Bay Holiday Village? What does it mean for your caravan? Can you access your caravan? What happens if you've got a holiday booked? We'll talk about all that and more, and obviously answer your questions. So, first of all, what does it mean? Well, this one's really simple because there's no ambiguity with this. It means that from Friday, at midday, in fact, all of our parks in Wales will close for 2 weeks. No ifs, no buts, no maybes. That is the law. That's what's required of us, and that's what we have to do. So, if you are currently on park, you will need to vacate by midday on Friday. I hate saying that. It's a horrible thing for me to say. I don't like saying it, but unfortunately, we're compelled by the legislation to do that. Um, if you're currently staying with us on holiday, what I suggest you do is pop to the reception in the morning and have a chat with the guys there. They will be able to sort of explain what your options are. Because if you are, for example, one of our guests who are due to sort of go home after Friday, then there are some options available to you because we understand that we are cutting your holiday short. So we will discuss that with you. If you are somebody that's due to arrive and have your holiday from Friday during the half term period, then we would love for you to come and see us again another time and move the date of the holiday and move on to our Vale Flex scheme, which is completely free of charge, as I'm sure you would expect. But we also fully understand and appreciate that you may not want to sort of hold that money on account throughout the winter. So for those of you who are booked to come and stay with us during the 2 week period, you will, of course, have the option to have that money fully refunded. But we would ask if you could, and if you are able to, look at moving the date, hopefully to some point early next year, because that sort of helps us out a little bit as well as a business. But we also fully appreciate and understand Christmas is coming, and you may need to use those funds for other means, which is completely and totally understandable. I think the other question we're going to get tonight, which I can answer for you now, is can I access my caravan to winterize it during the lockdown period? The answer to that is an unequivocal no, you can't. Lockdown means lockdown. This is going back to the time in March when the legislation compelled us to close. This is absolutely completely the same. There's no difference at all. You can't access the park. Um, there is no reason whatsoever for anybody to be on the park past midday on Friday. Um, if you're thinking of self-isolating, then please don't. It's not going to wash. It's not going to happen. If you're thinking of trying to sort of like sneaking in the background, that's not going to happen either. We've got to be very strict with this on this particular set of rules because it's us as a business that's required to close. We are more responsible for enforcing that than we are with the previous legislation we spoke about on Saturday, whereby the onus was placed on individuals, not businesses. So, you had to make the judgment call on Friday if you felt it was appropriate to travel to Wales and you had to have a reasonable excuse. That's now flipped reversed. And from Friday, if the authorities find that somebody is on the holiday park then they're going to come down on us as the business owner like a ton of bricks, and they're also going to come down on that individual or the individuals that's occupying that caravan like a ton of bricks as well. So it's 2 weeks. It's an inconvenience. I totally get and appreciate that, but hopefully, if we take the First Minister at his word, he's given assurances today that it won't go beyond the 2 weeks, and that from Monday we can start to return to normality, whatever that is. So I'll pause there for a moment, give people a chance to reflect and sort of digest what I've just said. In the meantime, Jen, I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, so our first question is from Megan's dad. He assumes drain down appointments are cancelled. Statement of the obvious, but just to reaffirm.
Yeah. So, we've literally now across all of our parks got to press the pause button on everything. Now, if we go back to March, one of the things, if we take a holiday park and compare it to, say, a pub, pretty much with a pub, and they're in the look. I'm not trying to say that one situation's worse than another, because there's a lot of pubs who are not going to come out of this the other end. But pretty much with a pub, you can almost lock the door and shut for 2 weeks and come back again in 2 weeks and reopen. The difference with a holiday park is that it has the infrastructure of a small village. So it requires specialist people. We can't just turn off the lights, lock the gate, and send everybody home and come back in 2 weeks. So we will have to keep on a lot of our teams who have got specialist knowledge in specialist areas to make sure that the parks are ticking over during that 2 week period. But what that doesn't mean is that it's not an opportunity then for people to come onto the park to sort of visit their caravan, chalet, or holiday home. We need to be able to continue to work on the parks. The legislation allows for that to happen. Of course, there's going to be some of our admin staff who are going to be working from home as they were before. But for us, it's going to be pretty much like it was March, April, May, June, and a little bit of July, whereby the staff are in as they normally are, but without the customers. But hopefully this time it won't be any longer than 2 weeks. But all services will have to stop. Yeah.
Our next question is from Nina. Can we come and stay outside, closed down to lockdown? Too far just to come for an hour, just overnight when the lockdown is over.
No, and this is really important. We're dealing with two pieces of legislation now. So we're dealing with the legislation that was amended last Friday, I think it was, when we had the travel restrictions in Wales. So let's just put today's announcement to one side. So under the current legislation, because don't forget the fire break or circuit breaker, whichever way you want to term it, doesn't kick in until Friday. We're still under the restrictions of the health legislation, which means that people can't go out of Wales in certain areas. So, for example, as somebody that lives in Ceredigion, which is an area that is not under any current restrictions, other than the fact we can't go into tiers 2 and 3 in England, we can't go into the central belt of Scotland, we can't go to Northern Ireland, those rules will still fully apply on the 9th of November when the circuit breaker ends. So the simple answer to your question is, at the moment, you can't stay overnight if you are in one of those areas. When that circuit breaker ends, was it Nina that asked the question?
Yeah.
Providing she's not in a tier 2 area, tier 3 area from Northern Ireland or from the central belt of Scotland, then yes, overnight stays will be permitted if your park is not in a lockdown area. So, for example, it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter if you're in tiers 1, 2, or 3. There's no option for anybody to stay at Park Farm because Park Farm is in a lockdown area. But if, for example, your caravan's in, say, Grondray in Pembrokeshire and you're in tier 1, then from the 9th of November, you should be able to come and stay overnight.
Okay, question from R. Sue. As I've not yet closed down and can't get there before then, can I close down after the restrictions are lifted?
Yes.
Emma Jane asks, my holiday was due this Friday. When am I expected to receive an email about how to arrange a refund?
Um, it's you won't get an email. You'll get a phone call or call us. As you can imagine, I mean, look, to put this in perspective, in the last in the last 5 days, our switchboard's received over 1,500 calls, which may not sound a lot, but it is when you know for a business of our size, it's a huge amount of calls to have. So what I would suggest you do is if you have got on holiday, it's probably better for you to contact us rather than us wait to contact you. I would say we are trying to get round as many people as we possibly can. Um, but you know, the only surefire way to make sure you get this resolved is for you to contact us. And we are handling the calls pretty well. They are being dealt with. As well as the people who we've got answering the calls, we've also got a team of senior people in the background who are monitoring the calls. So they're able to jump in and assist if we get any sort of questions that the sort of general call handlers are unable to sort of deal with. So I would suggest that between the hours of 9 and 5, you give us a call. If you don't get through the first time, you can send us an email and leave a contact number on there, and we will call you back that day.
Question from Michelle Hood. Will we be able to come down after the lockdown if all of Wales is out of lockdown?
Again, it's difficult for me to preempt what's going to happen and to sort of deal in hypotheticals. The only thing I can say that is going to happen from the 9th of November is I think the restrictions we're under now, the health restrictions that prohibit movement in Wales, they're still going to be in effect. So a lot of it is going to determine on where you're from and where you're going, and if you fall within the sort of the boundaries of reasonability to make that journey.
Teresa Blakeman asks, so everybody's got to be off at Clarick. I've guests on, do they leave by 12 on Friday?
Yeah, and the reason we're saying 12 on Friday is because this lockdown kicks in at 6 o'clock on Friday. So we think it's reasonable to ask everybody to sort of leave by midday, because it means that we can't be held accountable if, for example, we say 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, it's encroaching on that 6 p.m. curfew time. So we think 12 is fair and reasonable. It gives people the whole of the morning to sort of get themselves sorted and to leave the park. But yes, the top and the bottom of it is whether you're a caravan owner, whether you're a holiday guest in one of our own caravans, or whether you are a guest in a sublet caravan or chalet. If you're on one of our parks in Wales, there are absolutely no restrictions to this. You need to be gone by the midday on Friday.
That leads nicely into our next question from Susan Francis. We have guests checking out at 10 o'clock on Friday, but our cleaner then usually cleans around 2, 3 o'clock. As the lockdown is from 6 o'clock, is he still able to come and clean the chalet?
I think you're going to have to call us on that one, because I need to find out some information about where your cleaner's from, where they're travelling from. If you're using a local cleaning firm or a local cleaner, I think that would be reasonable and acceptable for us to sort of make an exception, because you know, if they only live sort of, you know, within a 10-15 minute drive, then I think that's, like I said, that's reasonable and acceptable. But give us a call and talk to us on an individual basis about that.
Question from Oliver Addison, sorry. Good evening. Hope you're all well and keeping safe. Question. We have had an inquiry regarding our chalet from someone who lives in Aberystwyth. Can I rent it out after lockdown?
If you've had an inquiry from somebody in Aberystwyth wanting to rent your chalet, I can 99.9% say that that would not be for holiday purposes. It's because they're either looking to move house and they want somewhere as a stopgap measure, or they're perhaps having some building work done in their house. The answer to that is no. The reason the answer to that is no is because all of our accommodation across all of our parks, whether it's in England or Wales, is strictly for holiday use only. So I very much doubt somebody from Aberystwyth would want to come on holiday sort of 2 miles from where they live. So on that basis, I would say no. And that would, you know, I would say that they would not be looking at using your chalet for holiday. And the fact as well, it's in the winter. No, it's got to be for holidays only.
Neil Pugh asks, does the fire break mean that Denbighshire may reopen afterwards?
No, I don't think it. I would be absolutely gobsmacked if on Monday the 9th, the First Minister announces at his press conference for all of the counties in Wales that have been subject to localised lockdown restrictions or health protection areas as they've been um, defined in Wales. He comes out and says, "By the way, we're lifting everything." Um, I think I think this circuit breaker is something that is in complete isolation and separation to what's already in place. I don't think they're using it as a bridge to release other restrictions and ease other things that are in place. I just think we got to look at this as a 2 week pause. And I think when we come out of this, we will, for the next few weeks at least, this is my guess. So I'm not an expert in these matters, but my guess is that things will continue as they are now at this moment in time. So we'll go back to having the 17 or so counties in Wales under localised restrictions, and we'll go back to being able to visit the park to winterise your caravans, and we'll go back to people in tiers 2 and 3 not being able to stay overnight. I don't think you're going to come out of this on Monday and he's going to go, right, crack on as it was before.
I know you've answered this one already, but it'll help everybody. Just to clarify, have all guests got to leave by 12 o'clock on Friday at Cleric?
Yeah, there's absolutely no exception to this. I can't emphasize that enough. And the reason I want to really emphasize this is because, we will be deemed to be committing a criminal offence, and so too will you. So the only way we can ensure that we are taking all of the necessary due diligence to make sure we are within the boundaries of the law is to say that if we find that anybody is on the park after midday, then we would look to immediately terminate their license agreement, which is the most severe form of action that we can take, because ultimately it means that your caravan or your chalet's got to be removed from the park. Um, I can hand on heart say that during the lockdown, we've not had to do that once. By me saying please don't take it as that we're threatening that that's what we're going to do. If you don't do this, then we're going to do that. It's not. It's just me saying or emphasizing the severity of the situation we are now in and the consequences of not following the guidelines, because it can have severe and detrimental impact on our business if we are in breach of the guidelines by a result of you, the customers, breaching the guidelines. If that makes sense, we're held as accountable as what the customers are.
Susan George asks, we're in Shropshire, a low incidence area. Can we come to the village tomorrow, stay till Thursday to lock down?
Yes. Yeah, I mean that's a good point, and it's a good example. So if you live, say, I don't know, let's say Shropshire, let's say um, you're in Shrewsbury or Shrewsbury, depending how you pronounce it, or even Telford, um, and you think to yourself, well, I need to come and sort things out. Again, it's now, or is it Monday? So there's nothing stopping you traveling tonight if you want to, traveling tomorrow, as long as you are gone by midday on Friday. That is perfectly acceptable. So that goes for anybody at any of our parks, apart from Park Farm, because Park Farm is in an area with restrictions already. But providing you're not currently under any form of restriction, and you're visiting a park of ours which is not under any form of restriction, and the only park that is under restriction is Park Farm, then you are quite entitled to come and stay as long as you vacate by Friday.
Joanne Lawman asks, can I pay the site team at Clarick to drain down my caravan, as we can't get to you before the fire break and our season ends the 1st of November?
Yes, you can. Yeah, you can. Let me just put you on pause 2 seconds, because my phone keeps ringing by the same person. So I'm just going to quickly take the call. So I do apologise for yeah, but you can. We can.
I feel it's really weird. Just everybody at home sat just watching me listening to Thomas. Sorry about that, people. But as Thomas said, he's got a migraine, so he's sat in a dark room, and I've got this very bright light in front of me because I keep losing the electric in here. So sorry about that. Some really nice messages from you all as well, saying about how things have been handled. For example, Lyndon Jones. Hi, all. Keep safe and well. Thanks for all you've done this year and under
Sorry
very
about that.
difficult
We've
circumstances.
sorry. We've got So with our phone system for Vale, we take it in turns answering the emergency phone. So that was somebody at Liskeal whose electric's gone off. So yeah,
Are you
I'm
going to drive down and
multitasking.
fix it?
No, I'm not, but I know a man who can, who lives about 50 yards from the entrance of the park in Cornwall. He's going to go down and sort it out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying, so while I was waiting for you, I was just saying about some of the nice comments we've had. Lyndon's just said, hi all, keep safe and well, thanks. You've all done this year and under very difficult circumstances. Hope to see you all next year in some sort of normality. Love you all.
Oh, thanks, Lyndon. It's great to hear from you, and it's been good to see you this season as well. And it's good to see you back here with a smile on your face after a very difficult couple of years. So yeah, it's been great to see you and your family down in Claret, and looking forward to having a chat with you in the club whilst you enjoy one of the Sunday lunches next season. So yeah, going back to this. I mean, look, when I was watching today's press conference, and I wasn't surprised by the announcement because I think we alluded to this in a previous broadcast a couple of days ago. Usually, when things like this are sort of leaked and muted in the press, you know what's coming. It's a way of sort of preparing people. The one thing I find really frustrating and annoying about this, and again, this is when I say to people, I'm talking now as Thomas Scarrett as an individual, not as Thomas Scarrett, a director of our holiday parks, but as an individual, I'm really annoyed about the way in which this has come about. I'm really annoyed about the fact that we in Ceredigion, and also our neighbours in Pembrokeshire, and also our neighbours in Paris, and also our neighbours in Gwynedd. So if you look at Ceredigion, sort of geographically, to the north of us we have Gwynedd, to the east of us we have Paris, and to the sort of southwest of us we have Pembrokeshire. We have some of the lowest instances of coronavirus in the whole of the United Kingdom. In fact, Ceredigion is the lowest place for coronavirus in the whole of the United Kingdom. So I think it's completely unfair and disproportionate that we are now subjected to these lockdown restrictions. That's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is that all of the evidence seems to be pointing towards people engaging in social gatherings within the confines of their own home. That's why the infection rates are going up. So I think it's very unfair for people to point the finger at pubs and restaurants who have worked absolutely tirelessly and jumped through hoops to make sure that they maintain social distance and they follow all the guidelines. And now, through the government's actions today, they are putting the livelihoods of these people who run these businesses at serious, serious risk. So what you've done, in effect, is you've made things a lot more difficult for people who are already following the rules, and those that don't follow the rules, they're not going to give a toss anyway. They're just going to carry on regardless. So I'm really, really annoyed about how this has all come about. But that's Thomas Scout talking as a individual, not Thomas Scarrett talking as a director of Vale Holiday Parks. That's my personal opinion.
Now I've got to clear up something here as well. With Puggy Ellis has sent a message, but she said, "Hi everyone from Bronglice." I hope that means she's not in hospital. You're not in hospital, are you, Puggy? She says, Thomas, can we still bank transfer our ground rent before the end of October with the details given in the email with our bill, please?
Yes, you can, and we very much welcome that.
I think everything else is everybody thanking you. Stay safe. Thanks for all the hard work. Thanks, Thomas. Christine Berry, are you planning on doing any entertainment on Here Again?
That's a bit of an open-ended question, Christine. I would, yeah, of course. We're not just going to have no entertainment across our parks. I mean, for me, I've really missed Parkfest. I've really missed the festivals this year. I've missed not DJing this year. I mean, those of you who know me have known that I've sort of, DJ'd for the last, since I was 12 years of age, for the best part of 30 years. And it's something I've missed. You've missed Jem, people who know you, Jem, you're a former West End performer. You've toured all over Europe you'll see some of the posters behind you. Got 42nd Street there, Evita. you've had to completely change your role, and you're now a housekeeper.
Yep.
And I think that's testament to you, and I think it's testament to a lot of our teams who have had to members of the team, I should say, who have had to sort of adapt and do things outside of their comfort zone. Jem, you would love nothing more than to take 5 steps in front of where you're standing now,
Yep.
because you'll be on the stage in the main room in Claret Bay and belt out some songs.
I'd even be happy to call bingo, Thomas.
Let's not push it. Let's not push it. So yeah, we are gonna look. We are gonna, as soon as we're able to, we will of course, restart the entertainment. What that entertainment offering is going to look like, I couldn't possibly tell you.
I didn't want to interrupt you, Thomas, but I think she actually meant on CBTV.
Oh, okay. In that case, yes, I think we will throughout the winter. In that case, yeah, I think we will throughout the winter be looking at making CBTV pretty much back to what it was at the beginning when it was an entertainment-based thing. And hopefully that will start at some point in November. Yeah.
Sorry, loads of messages just come in, but they're all. I did get a message off Ian. Puggy, get well soon. Get well soon, Puggy. If we are not in lockdown over Christmas, are the clubs going to be open?
I doubt it very much, is the honest answer.
But that's the other thing as well. Obviously, the from the 9th of September, because we've extended our seasons, haven't we, Thomas? So people can still come from November up until Christmas as well.
Yeah, they can, but it's on a, people are booking with us. It's on an accommodation only basis, so the facilities won't be open, and it's in our higher end accommodation. I think from sort of maybe platinum up or maybe gold up. I'm not entirely sure. The details are on the website, but at this moment in time, regardless of what happens, we're just not in a position to be able to commit to opening our clubs over the Christmas and New Year period. I think there are two strands to that. For that to happen, we'd need to sort of advertise and we need to prepare for it. I think if we used to put that type of message out at the moment, I think it would be considered to be irresponsible, given the current circumstances. And I don't think, again, there are so many variables. When we get into the winter months and there's a lot of people who've drained the caravans down and whatnot, what we don't want to happen then is for people to feel then under pressure to reopen the caravans and come down over Christmas and New Year period, and then for it to be a frost and it's all go pear-shaped. I think we're better off just saying, look, regardless of whatever happens, Christmas and New Year this year, the clubs won't be open, and our focus is going to be, coming back to some sort of normality from March next year.
Stephanie Eglinton's asked, Jem, can you do the Halloween show next week? Perhaps the children can send photos of their Halloween costumes and decorations. We'll have a talk about that, Thomas. That's maybe possible.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I don't know how to take this one from Joanne Cinders Robinson, but all entertainment is a miss. Pleased we still got to see Ian. Thanks for that, Joanne. I'll leave that one there. Can we have some quizzes, please? Yes, we will get back to doing it, because we enjoyed our little quiz nights as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Good. Mark Rees, can you get a revised fee invoice if you did not get the goodwill gesture from back before the accounts were made up?
Questions like that, Mark, in all honesty, I think are better off being asked direct to the reception. It's difficult for me to answer a question like that. I mean, if you're asking for a copy payment request letter, then yes, we can do that. But anything sort of beyond that, then just give the reception a call, and I'm sure they'll be able to assist you and email you a copy of whatever it is you're after.
Linda Turner said, "Sorry, I'm late joining. Has there been any discussion on Park Farm?"
Linda, wait until the broadcast is finished.
Press rewind.
And press rewind, because I'm not repeating what I've just said for the last 30 minutes.
Susan Francis says, haven't you opened weekends in November and December before?
Oh, actually, what was the name?
Linda.
Linda, yeah. The only thing you may have missed is that we did make a big announcement to say that from next season, we're opening a new area of the park. It's going to be a full-on nudist area. There's going to be all that sort of... I can see Jem's face there thinking he didn't say that.
No, I was actually just reading a comment.
No. No, look, if you want to, the big announcement is we're closed for 2 weeks, and that's pretty much the top and the bottom of it. So you just need to, if you rewind at the end of the show, you'll be able to get all the important bits. But the headline news is we're closed for 2 weeks from Friday.
I've had a response from Joanne, and I don't know how to take this one.
Well, do you know what? Don't bother reading it. Let's
No,
move on.
listen to this, Thomas. I've seen you, Jem, running around park every day, all day. Seen you today. I have to say, you look better now than you did earlier. Thanks, Joanne. You're making me feel great. A lot of people think the Halloween thing's a good idea, so we'll work on that. We'll get something sorted for that.
Okay.
No more questions as of yet.
Well, that's good. Hopefully we've taken care of everything then. Yeah, I mean, again, there's if you go onto if you just go into Google, do a search for the Welsh government website, it will Welsh government latest news. You'll find the latest frequently asked questions in relation to the fire break lockdown. Why they've called it a fire break, I do not know. And it goes into a lot of detail, not just in terms of sort of travelling, but also, for people that live in Wales, it talks about education. I mean, for example, my two youngest children who are in primary school, I think their half term is going to be extended by a week, so they'll be off for the entirety of this. Whereas my eldest daughter, she's in year 9, so they'll have the second week doing the lessons via Microsoft Teams, but children in years 7 and 8 will go back to school. So, just think about that. Think about that there, how the effect that has on. So let's say now that you're a person that works in the NHS, you're on the front line, and you need your kids to be in school because you need to be able to work. So now you're faced with a situation where you've got a child who's in year 9. They're going to be staying at home for the week. So what do? Do you leave that child at home by themselves while you go to work? Or do you have the week off? So you're going to lose money. It's just, I can't get my head around it. I really can't.
We have had a couple more questions come in. This one's from Linda Turner. Regarding the club shows, Christmas celebrations and the shows you have on site, will this reflect in our site fees? This is my first year owning a caravan on the park. And I will rewind. Thanks, guys.
No, it won't. Look, just to elaborate on that. I don't think it would be fair for us to. I think we've as a business, I think we've done all that we possibly can in terms of the financial support that we've provided to our customers this year with a gesture of goodwill. If we had to charge people at some of our parks based on the entertainment, based on the shows, based on the festivals, etc., trust me, you would be paying a lot more for your site fees than what you currently are.
The way I've always kind of looked at it is that obviously when you buy a caravan, you pay for your ground rent, etc. And this is actually a bonus. The club's a bonus. The way I look at that, I don't know if.
Yeah, I mean, look, we never, our site fees. And something I have touched upon in the past, but our site fees do not reflect the fact that there's a club or swimming pool on the park. Our site fees. I mean, the clue is in the title, site fees. You're siting your caravan on the park, and the fee is for you to have your caravan sited and connected to the services on the park. It's as simple as that. If and I can give you an example. Some of our parks have no facilities, no clubs, no swimming pools, and their site fees are higher than some of our parks that do have the facilities. It's just the way it is. It's market forces, call it what you like, but nowhere in any of our literature will you find anything mentioned about your site fee calculation being based on the entertainment you get. Like I said, if that was the case, then I'm afraid some of you would be in for a big shot, because we would have to increase our site fees considerably in order to recoup some of the costs that we put into the entertainment under normal circumstances.
A very important question from Chippy Dave.
It's obviously
Okay.
not an important question if it's come from Chippy Dave, but go on.
For those of you who don't know who Chippy Dave is, he's the guy that runs the Jolly Friar chip shop here at Claret. And he wants to know if anybody wants to buy some potatoes.
Yeah.
uh, Nicholas Sullivan, are we able to winterise the Caravan Friday if we leave before 6 p.m?
No.
Got to be by 12.
Yes.
Joy's up for doing the Halloween show. Good on you, Joy. We'll get something sorted with that. A suggestion from Lynn and Jane. What about having the closing down party on CBTV?
Yeah, I suppose it's something we could do. Yeah. Again, I think our intention has always been to get October out of the way, and it'll give us a chance then to sort of sit down and discuss the future of CBTV. I've got to give a shout out to Lynn and Jane actually because they're not very well. They had an accident.
I didn't know that.
Um,
I've seen them today.
yeah, who did you see today? Did you see Lynn or Jane?
To be honest, I was playing with the dog, so.
Lynn's had a bit of a fall and she broke her wrist.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah. So sending you our best wishes, Lynn. Yeah, and make sure Jane looks after you. Make sure Jane waits you now hand and foot.
Question from Paul Fudge. Thomas, we are newbie owners from the Vale of Glamorgan. In your opinion, will we get to see our new purchase this year?
So yes, I think yes. And the reason I say yes, I was just thinking about that then. So if Mark Drakeford is true to his words, on the 9th of November, he will put us back to the situation where we're at today. So, for example, I know Vale of Glamorgan because it's the neighbouring county to where I was brought up and where my grandma still lives. Lovely part of the world, by the way, Vale of Glamorgan. Very posh, yeah, fish and chips and suitcases there. But you know, if for example, was it Paul? Was it who asked the question? Was it Paul? Was it who asked the question?
Yes, Paul.
Yeah. So Paul, there's nothing stopping you, providing your caravan is sort of slightly connected. If you wanted to come to your caravan and sort of secure it for winter, there's absolutely nothing stopping you doing that before Friday. You are allowed to do that. And then after Friday is when the lockdown kicks in for 2 weeks. And then between sort of November the 9th when the lockdown ends and going forward, we'll just have to wait and see what the First Minister says. He says things will go back to how they were today, but there is an opportunity at this moment before Friday for you to come down to your caravan to secure it for winter. It's deemed to be a reasonable excuse.
Michelle Hood's put a nice thing. She says, I have to say this year has been a real difficult year, but if you can make it to your accommodation or rent over Christmas, do it. The sights are beautiful, lovely walks, sitting on your decking with a hot chocolate or wine, listening to the wildlife is just out of this world. Guys, if you can, do it.
Yeah, I'd completely and thoroughly endorse Michelle's comments there because you don't realise, the wildlife we have on our doorstep. We take it for granted, I think, Gem, and I think for me it was emphasised during the early parts of the initial lockdown because the red kites, the famous red kites of Mid Wales.
That was incredible.
It was they made the holiday park their new feeding ground for a few months whilst the people were away. And what I'll do when we go back into doing CBTV, the normal version of CBTV, I'll repost some of the drone footage I took of them feeding and that, and it's absolutely incredible. Some of the sights you would see just sitting on your decking or your balcony.
It was incredible as well, just hearing it, because obviously the park was so quiet, and that's what it would be like that over the winter, I suppose, as well. Just hearing all the wild, you never realised how loud but beautiful the wildlife is.
Yeah, we had. I'll try and dig out the CCTV footage because with our CCTV, during certain times, we've got sort of like if you like, infrared lines set up, a little bit like the Matrix or Mission Impossible. So if something or somebody crosses one of those lines, it sends a picture to the security's phone and also my phone. I can tell you there's been quite a few interesting pictures come through, but that's another story. But one of the pictures we had what appeared to be, and I'm going to get loads of experts in wildlife saying, "Don't be daft. You haven't got those in Claret." But it appeared to be like a weasel went straight up the front steps of the club at about 3 o'clock in the morning a few weeks ago. Obviously, it couldn't get in because the door was locked. So it turned and went back. Went back the other way. Yeah.
Now I've got to do a very, very important thing, Thomas. One of our big viewers on Claret Bay is celebrating a birthday. He thinks we've been ignoring him for ages, but we haven't.
Is it Perry?
So it is. It's Perry's birthday tomorrow.
Yeah, we normally do ignore Perry because some of the comments he posts.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna take a guess. So going, I'm gonna guess now, and forgive me if I get this wrong, but just going over the last few months and looking at the comments, you can normally sort of guess somebody's age by the comments they post, and I'm guessing Perry's going to be celebrating his 13th birthday tomorrow.
That's not nice. No, I can, because he's put it on Facebook, so I can say he's going to be 56 tomorrow.
Is he really?
Happy birthday, Perry!
Can I share something with you guys if I'm allowed to?
Go on.
Just wait there. I'm going to go see. I'm going to go and see if he's available. Okay. Wait there. Just keep talking.
I will do. Now, the trouble is, Perry, I'm going to explain. I'm not ignoring you, Perry. It's just because obviously I've got to get the questions in, and because you've got a delay, sometimes some of the things you said aren't necessarily relevant to the questions that Thomas has asked. So it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's just it gets very confusing getting the questions come in and all that sort of stuff. So, that's nice. I personally feel that you, Thomas, and all of your owners have been given a real blow by the Welsh government, especially as the areas that you're in have some of the lowest figures. We do hope your owners and holiday customers are allowed back. Keep safe all. Oh, thank you, Nick. That's lovely. Hilary Roberts saw a ferret run under the next door chalet. Maybe it was a ferret then, not a weasel. Interesting. Jenny Harrison, I have videos of foxes and badgers around our tour at night on Park Form. Oh, lovely.
Right, I'm going to introduce you to the newest member of my family, okay?
I'm very, very excited at this.
Okay, he's 8 weeks old, and I'd like everybody to say hello to Freddie.
Oh, look at those eyes.
So this is Freddie. He's a Chihuahua.
Oh.
This is my eldest daughter's dog, and to show you how small he is, this is an iPhone 11, is it?
Look at that.
There you go. There's Freddie.
Oh.
And it's great because, I've been married now for coming in 15 years. I got 3 daughters. We got a rabbit. 2 dogs which are girls. The rabbit's a girl. 3 daughters. He's added a bit of balance to the family. So I've got somebody, who's actually going to side for me.
Don't you? You're going to end up giving him the chop, aren't you?
So
you'll end up giving him the chop then.
Yeah, well, at least we'll have something in common, Jeb.
Love it. Oh, they're awesome. Oh, gorgeous eyes. Adorable. Oh, my goodness, Freddie, so cute. Oh, so beautiful. Adorable. Hi, Freddie. Hello, Freddie. Oh, everybody loves Freddie. Quick question, Dean Walters. Are you going to be on Saturday, as Olivia is 11 on Saturday, and Mummy and Daddy and Charlie Ann would like to wish her a happy birthday for Saturday? Yes, we will be here on Saturday.
Yes, we will.
We will be. There seems to be no more questions coming through.
Yeah, I think a lot of our viewers are going to be turning off now because a lot of Wolves supporters, and the Wolves have got a big game tonight against Leeds.
Ah. Yeah. Sorry, there was one more question, Thomas, and I missed it from earlier. Hi, Thomas. Are there any plans to open the touring park next season?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be open. Touring is yeah. I'm sorry, I was thinking then, but yeah, touring as in touring caravans. Yes, it'll be open as normal.
But I think someone did ask if we were going to have touring on Claret as well.
No.
Just double checking where that was. Yes.
So I'm just, just while I'm here now, I have different alerts come through to my phone. So, this is one which has just come from Wales Online, which is a subsidiary of the Mirror. Okay, and this is the headline. I've not read the article, but the headline grabbed my attention, and I've just got to accept the cookies. So this is the headline. The headline reads: the town which had few cases of coronavirus until, and I'll let you fill in the blanks. The town which had few cases of coronavirus. Well, it's talking about Aberystwyth.
Yeah.
And headline reads, until the students went back.
Yeah.
And then it's asking the sort of the subline then is, did the authorities do the right thing in letting students return to Aberystwyth? So this puts it in perspective. And apologies if I'm boring you now by going on, but this is on Wales Online, and it said in June, as Wales cautiously emerged from a national lockdown, Ceredigion had recorded just 42 cases of coronavirus. 4 months later, that number has crept up to 163. Students are only part of that story, with 33 having tested positive since term started in September. Yet they are a part that is very much in focus right now, as much larger outbreaks at universities across the UK make attention-grabbing headlines. It's not clear to what extent this will affect Aberystwyth. Have students brought the virus into an area which might have considered it had largely escaped the disease, or is this outbreak largely contained on campus and irrelevant to the vast majority of the Ceredigion population? For the first time since March, Ceredigion found in late September it was no longer. Oh, I didn't know this. For the first time since March, Ceredigion found in late September it was no longer the area with the lowest infection rate in Wales. Yet that has subsided in recent days. In the last 7 days, it was again part of the Wales with the fewest cases are, so it's regained that title. On the iconic hill out of Aberystwyth, a daily struggle for many students as they make their way to lectures on the main campus high above the town. Some are happy to stop and chat if only excuse to take a breather. Emma Campbell, a second-year student studying French and German, is from the Midlands, and she says it's always going to happen, but there'll be a few more cases when students come back, coming from all over, and with different people starting to mix. I think it was always going to happen, but I think as long as you're being careful and respectful of other people, then I don't think it's too bad. So one of the things we know caused the outbreak in Aberystwyth was a group of students who decided to have a party on the beach and all gathered around a fire, share and drink. So yeah. Theo Edge, a 19-year-old fresher, has travelled from the Netherlands to study English literature at Aberystwyth and is terrified at the prospect of spreading the virus. Keeping his mask on despite being in the open, he said, people are much more lax about it here compared to at home, and I'm quite worried about that. He lives in a flat with 4 other students and says not everyone is following the rules. He apologises for offloading his worries and said he tried to make his feelings known, but there's only so much he can do. The ramifications for older people in the UK are not fair. He continued, if younger people get away with just flu-like symptoms, it's just not a fair situation. I'm very stressed and worried about getting it and giving it to somebody else. So, well, fair play to Theo for speaking out, for being so open. He had to isolate for 2 weeks on arrival into Wales at the start of September and thinks he should have been tested as well. That's actually a good point.
Yeah.
Very good point. So none of the students were tested.
Nope.
It wouldn't be fair for me to say it's not okay for people to come to Aberystwyth from outside the region. But he added, but I would say it's not fair for people to come to Aberystwyth and behave irresponsibly. The question is, of course, can students, many of whom left home for the first time and are relishing the prospect of unfettered freedom, be trusted to make the right decision? Nearly all of the cases at Aberystwyth University can be traced to a sting. Here we go. So this backs up what I've been saying, so I don't have to say allegedly anymore. Nearly all of the cases at Aberystwyth University can be traced to a single gathering, described by council leader Ellen Ap Gwyn as students enjoying themselves on the beach. Yeah.
What the thing that annoys me about it though is that they brought all the students back, open the university to make them sit at home and do it online.
So yeah, quotes here now. So it quotes somebody who I know pretty well, a guy called Mark Phillips. So in Aberystwyth, Rhian and Mark Phillips run the popular Why Not nightclub. I'm showing my age. Do you know there's a sign when you get older, Jem?
Yeah.
When you've got like a local nightclub and it's called a certain name and it's been that way for years, but you remember the original name of what it was
Yes.
back in the day when you were sort of sneaking in underage. So the Why Not nightclub, a lot of people may remember it as Yoko's.
Yeah.
People before a little bit older will remember it as K2. But I'm going to ask this to all of our Carrot Bay owners who've been coming for years: who remembers Porky's? Because that's what Why Not was originally called back in the day. It was Porky's. Anyway, I digress. In Aberystwyth,
I came with you once. You were DJing there once, and I came with you.
That was when it was Yoko's.
It was Yoko's. I couldn't
Yeah,
remember
and
what it was
before
called.
that it was K2, and before that was Porky's. Anyway, in Aberystwyth Town, Mark and Rhiannon Phillips run the popular Why Not Club, opening at 10 p.m. until 4 in the morning. They rely on the student population to keep their business afloat. On a normal Tuesday night, in the first month of term, they expect to take in the region of £3,500 to £4,000. This Tuesday night, they took just £210. Their DJs have been retrained to wait tables and work in the kitchen. But instead of taking home £150 for a night behind the decks, they're on a minimum wage earning £32 if they're lucky.
That's what's got to be done.
So there you go. There you go. So it looks like the students are getting a bit of a hammering.
We've got one more question just come through from Michelle Hood again. Are we at Grandray be welcoming back motorhomes and campers? I know it was mayhem with campers, but with our beautiful site also needs to be seen and enjoyed with families that won't be going on holidays next year with the economy as it is.
The problem with motorhomes and the problem with the tents was, especially for motorhomes, it's not exactly the same type of pitch required as a touring pitch. So that's why we stopped the motorhomes, because when people in motorhomes turn up, the pitch has to be a certain type with sort of facilities which are on the pitch for them to be able to enjoy themselves and to have what they would have at other parks. We don't really offer that. Tents and camping, being quite honest and quite blunt, the reason we stopped that was because it wasn't worth the hassle. It's simple as that. We was getting far too many issues, and we thought, you know what, it's not worth it. So we knocked it on the head. But tents, I doubt it very much. For we won't be offering tents at Grandray, but motorhomes is something which we'll discuss with the other directors. There might be an opportunity for us to bring them back.
Going back to Porky's.
Yeah.
Joy says, Adi says it was Porky's and remembers what it was before that.
What was it before that?
So I'm just waiting for Joy to type it in. What was it?
So looking at, I'm just reading through this article again. So they've interviewed students from the Netherlands, from England, and from America.
Say again, sorry, Thomas.
So this article, it's quite a long article. I only thought it was a short article, but they've got students. Well, we've got some. They've quoted and interviewed students from Poland, America, the Netherlands, England, all over the place, really. And I just keep thinking to myself, can you imagine if it was the tourists that brought COVID into Aberystwyth?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was the Skinner's Arms.
No, AD. I mean, look. I mean, me and AD go back a long way. AD was my roadie back in my DJing days, but the main difference between me and AD is that he's a granddad and I'm not. So he would, of course, remember the Skinner's Arms, where I wouldn't.
There's a weird one. Jacqueline Hughes has said, "What did they say to this question?" But I don't know what question you're on about. And then she said about Christmas. Can you put your question in again, Jacqueline? Because I'm not sure what you mean. And it was back in the late 80s, 90s.
Yeah, I was a little boy then.
Ah. Oh no, that was Perry saying he worked as, what did Perry say? He used to work the door XL's Birmingham for Eddie Futural.
Oh, I'm Eddie Futurist. Yeah. And he'll probably remember the Dome nightclub as well. That was the Futurist family had the Dome night. Am I right in saying that, Perry? The Dome, Eddie Futurist, very well known in Birmingham. The Futurist family.
We've got Andy, our producer Andy, remembers the Dome. We've actually got someone that can go before. What was Skinner's Arms? Christine Richards says
it's probably Ye Old Tavern or something like that.
Tavern in the town.
Oh, there you go.
Good guess.
Brilliant.
No, I don't think that. Jackie's not come back with her question. Rock Coffee and Rock Cafe it was before, Perry says. Has it come? The Dome was called the Night Out previously. Oh, we're all on the Dome now. It's all getting there now.
So because I was, like I said before, I when I was in my late teens, going into my mid to late 20s, so not that long ago. I used to do a lot of DJing all around the country, really, England, mainly England and Wales. So a lot of these nightclubs, yeah. I remember a nightclub in Nottingham I DJ'd at, and it was like one of the best clubs in the country at the time. But it had what would today be considered a very unfortunate name. It was called ISIS. Yeah,
Yeah.
but back then it was great. Yeah.
Okay, here's a question for you, Thomas. What's going to be the first song that you play when you DJ, Thomas? And Jem, what would be yours to sing? Oh, good question, George.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good question, but it depends where I'm DJing and what the event is. So I don't know if it was a usually if I'm sort of DJing, say I'm DJing in a club or say at a festival or something like that, and I'm going on after the DJ who's on now, I would usually play something like In Deep, Last Night a DJ Saved My Life. Because that's like me saying, I'm here, I've arrived, the DJ's here. Last night a DJ saved my life. There ain't a problem, weekend fix. You can do it in the mix. Now, if your man gives you trouble, it'll be there on the double. Yeah, that one.
Wrap it out.
But then from there, I'd go on to play, I don't know, I'd play a bit of everything.
I don't know what I'd sing, to be honest. Again, I suppose it all to do my. Oh, Joyce says, do my unique version of Gold. Do you remember that, Thomas? I don't know if you must have been there. It was we were doing the Britain show.
Yeah.
And it was we'd put Gold. Gold wasn't normally in it,
and
it was the end of the Olympics when we had 2012, the London Olympics.
All right.
So we put Gold in, but we'd had to alter it so we could get all of the gold medal winners, because we had so many that year. All of the gold medal winners come off of the screen, so it extended it, and I missed the introduction, and I just had to do one of those. Thank you for coming. Sorry, the chairs are all worn, and then had to talk it all because I just had no idea what it was until I heard.
That's quite that song though. The intro of it, if you're not counting yourself in, it's quite easy. It's one of those songs where it's very, very easy. You need really like a metronome, don't you, to sort of or a click to count it in.
It's not that. You have like the piano start.
Yeah.
But normally everything works in fours. So
yeah.
You have
but it's off the beat. It's off the beat though, isn't it?
That one's only 3 for some reason. So you're waiting for the 4th one to happen, but it's already started.
Yeah.
So if you miss that 4, not good. But I thought I'd covered it well, but until I got to the dressing room where they were all wetting themselves on the floor, I didn't.
No.
But you have to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do.
Well, look, I'm going to go and have my tea. I'm going to take some more Nurofen for me headache. Yeah.
Well, they say hair of the dog if you've got a headache. Just have one of Freddy's.
Oh, one of Freddy's what?
Hairs.
Oh, no.
Hair
Yeah.
of the dog. I know you haven't got it from drinking because you don't know a drinker.
No. Right, can I go now?
Just checking there's no more questions. How did our little runner do for his fundraiser to go and help the children, please? I wonder if you mean Alicia, who's a little girl.
Yes. She done really well. She raised about £10,000. She raised between £8,000 and £10,000. Amazing.
Oh, brilliant.
Alicia's my niece.
And all off her own back as well.
Yeah, indeed.
Plenty of water. People are saying have plenty of water, Thomas.
Yeah.
Hydrate yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I will do.
Nope. I think that's it.
Right. Well, thank you very much for your company, Jem. Good to see you.
Thank you. Nice to hear you.
Yeah. And we'll catch you again.
See you on Saturday.
See you on Saturday. I don't think we're going to have anything. I mean, possibly may do one on Thursday just to sort of say to people, look, you need to be off the park tomorrow. So we've done everything we possibly can do. But other than that, we'll look at coming back on Saturday because we're going back into an official lockdown. Perhaps Saturday we relaunch Jem with a fully entertainment based.
Love it.
Yeah, so we've got this week to plan it.
Yeah, fabulous. There you go. Right. So, entertainment on Saturday.
Excellent.
Keep posted on Facebook, and we'll see you all Saturday. Good night. God bless.